Hi guys, so welcome to a new Instagram podcast. My guest of today is Diipa Khosla, and she's an Indian influencer. She is an influencer in fashion and beauty, and she moved to the Netherlands when she was 17 to study. And during her internship as an influencer agency, she was introduced to the world of social media. And in only 4 years, she managed to get a following of 1.6 million followers on Instagram. So that's freaking huge. And she also has her own foundation called Post for Change. And she has worked with different UN and other NGO foundations. So we will also talk today about her foundation, Post for Change, and about her career.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. Staying at home. But
Oh, yeah, same.
oh no, how are you holding up? Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
I mean, I think in the beginning when we first started, it was really difficult, and now it's almost like it's the new normal, you know?
Yeah.
So we try to keep a schedule and, try to do things as much as you can normally. And luckily, my job, you can do quite a lot online.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. So just trying to keep busy, but it's really weird that, you can't go out and meet your friends and stuff like that. So that's difficult. But I think apart from that, I'm just keeping busy and being productive and
Yeah.
trying to make the best of it.
And
Really.
you're still working out. So some in the first week I was like, I'm buying new stuff, I'm going to work out. And now the second week I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah,
So
I know. I think it's like New Year's resolutions, you're like January 1st, you're like pumped up, like I'm gonna do everything, and then you're like, Netflix and chill.
yeah, same. But let's start at the beginning because you studied international law. But
Yes.
you started a career in beauty and fashion. What
Yeah.
sparked that ambition in you?
To be honest, I kind of fell into it a bit. So when initially I was studying law and I did an internship at the International Court in The Hague, the International Criminal Court, and then I had about 4 months of a break before I was going to go to London to do my master's. And during that time, there was this internship opportunity in Amsterdam, and it turned out being a influencer agency. And I'm like, what is influencers? What is an influencer agency? Like, what do these girls do? And then after working there for a couple of days, I was closing like this massive deal for one of the original influencers, like Kiara, you know her, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like her and like Christina Bazan and Ami Song, like the OG women.
Yeah.
And then I realized that there was literally no Desi or Indian influencer globally doing it. And I'm like, wait a second, could I do that? Like there were a bunch, I think in India that started a bit, but like no one at like a global scale who was kind of representing us Desis. And even though I didn't really like, my plan was really like academic law, like I didn't really see myself ever in the fashion or beauty thing. For me it was more as a representation, to have like someone that I think girls that look like us would want to look up to someone too. And I thought, I do know fashion and beauty a bit, so why not try it? But eventually the goal was always to do more with it and use my skills and use everything I've learned to bring it to Instagram. But fashion and beauty was the easy way to get into it.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. Yeah.
Okay. Because you are also one of the first Indian influencers I followed online.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
but,
awesome.
Yeah, but also, how is it to be one of the biggest like Desi influencers online?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really think of it like that. I find my growing community and audience just really awesome, and I think with numbers and stuff, it's so much about like it keeps changing, especially in such an online platform. Like even if you might have 1 million, 2 million followers, but if your followers not interacting with you, what's the point?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So for me, I always think of myself like a startup. Like it's always like keep innovating, keep changing. Now there's TikTok.
So I'm so trying to figure it out.
So it's like jump on that and like try to do that. So it's like always never think you're like the biggest and you're done, you know, like
Yeah.
always keep innovating and keep trying and moving and learning. And yeah, so I think I don't think of myself like that. It's just about a journey, so to keep moving forward. Yeah.
Okay. But also, why do you think it became such a success? Because in 4 years you grew like immensely. So how
Yeah.
do you think why? What was your
um I think for sure the fact that there were not any other like global Desi role models within Instagram and within fashion and beauty, that was definitely a thing. So when girls like us saw me, instantly they were like, "Oh, I like her. She's like me. You know, she's
Yeah.
my girl." And so I think that definitely helps. So right time, right place, I would say. And then secondly, one of the main things I think that exploded my profile was our wedding. Like when I got
It's so
married to
beautiful.
yeah.
I
When I
followed
got married to my
everything.
Dutch husband,
Yeah.
I think it was this perfect coming together of cultures and you know showing the world this beautiful Indian wedding and la la la. So I think like that wedding, I think I grew like 300,000 followers in 1 week or something.
Oh
So
wow.
it was
Yeah.
really like I think the wedding exploded everything to the next level as well. And yeah, right time, right place, I think would be the reason. Yeah.
Okay. But where did you get your inspiration from? Because when you started, what you said, there was not a lot of Indian representation online. So
Yeah. Inspiration to be an influencer, you mean?
no, more like at who would you look at? Like, oh, I can see me in her, or oh, finally somebody that looks like me, something like that.
To like within the Instagram influencer world, nobody, obviously, because
No.
I was the first one who tried to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would take bits and pieces from like every influencers, like what they're doing well, and also just women who are not influencers. Like, you know, I love the business acumen of, say, Emily Weiss from Glossier, or like Jessica Alba from Honest, you know, and how like she went from being an actress to like a businesswoman. So I would take like their business acumen, and then maybe I would take Amal Clooney's kind of like legal humanity loving aspect. So I'm like,
Yeah.
make sure you always have, you know, so like take inspiration from like every woman
Yeah.
in a different way. But there wasn't one that I was like, you are my perfect role model. It was
Yeah.
just bits and pieces. Yeah.
It's also beautiful to hear that you don't only look at Desi women, because all women have something special. So you did
Exactly.
it wrong. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which campaign or shoot has always stayed with you, and why?
I think it would have to be the MAC one, where for the first time ever, you know, MAC made me the face of this makeup range. That was the makeup that they used on my wedding, and it was the first time like globally MAC had put an Indian, like a Desi woman with like Desi attire. So I had like the head and the earrings and everything all over the world, like at airports everywhere. So I think I remember getting a lot of messages from girls being like, "Oh, this is so cool to see an Indian on the face of MAC," you know.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably my proudest moments. Yeah.
Okay. And also, what kind of advice would you give Desi men or women that want to make it in the fashion and beauty industry? So not only influencers, but the whole industry.
Yeah. That the time is definitely our time now. Like, you know, there's for sure this like South Asian representation like boom happening, and that we should definitely help each other out. And there's enough of us globally. Like if you look at how many bases are in the US and the UK and Canada and Holland, like there's so many of us that
Yeah.
it's definitely our time to shine. And yeah, I'm always a very proud brown woman, like I always say that. So a piece of advice would be just start, like that's the hardest part, to just get started, and then just try to along the way, you know, network and like meet people and try to help each other out. Because I think if I look back, for me, many of the times it was because I met the right people along the way that I could move ahead in what I did. So I would say network a lot and like talk to people and try to look within your range who can help you out, and just keep doing that over and over again for years on end.
And don't wait, just start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Also, some people think that being an influencer isn't a real job, which I don't agree on. But what does your normal day look like before quarantine or now Now it's a little bit.
Now, well,
Yeah.
now it's just getting into my sweatpants and like
I love it.
trying to shoot stuff. But I think in a normal day, again, it was very, very different. Like I was someone who was on a plane at least 3 times a week. So if I'm flying, it would be then the flying routine, you know. But
Yeah.
apart from that, I think on a daily basis, you end up like, in a way, your team ends up doing what a fashion magazine, a content creation house, a PR firm, all of them do in one, essentially. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot of different tasks, like from finance, admin, invoicing, to content creation, editing, posting, content calendars. Then you have negotiations with brands. If you do a big campaign, then you have, you know, long-term campaigns, and you have face of it, ambassadorship. So like in my team, I have, you know, people who just take care of content, people who just take care of like the talent management side of things.
Yeah.
Then people who do the press, so all my covers, interviews, podcasts. Then there's yeah, indeed, the whole financial part, the finances, taxes, la la la. So it's a very, very busy day.
Everything.
Yeah, and for me, my following is quite split up between Europe, US, and India. So then I have like an India team, I have like a Europe team, and then like an agency in the US, you know. So it's like I need to constantly be around the three of them as well. So it's a lot of work. Yeah, it's definitely not just a hobby, and yeah, it's.
I already felt a little bit tired when you listed everything.
Yeah,
so it's a lot to do. But
exactly.
if you love it, then it's good.
You do. And it is a really good business. Like if you can make it well, and if you put always your audience first and your community first, because I think a lot of influencers, you know, what they do is after a while they see the money and they're like, let me just take every product and promote everything. And soon your audience is like, why am I following you? Like if you have
I cannot trust your opinion. No.
Yeah, exactly. If you have no value for me and you're just going to promote like a billboard, anything, then why am I following you for your expertise or for because I trust you, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. What are some things a lot of people don't know about you yet?
Ooh, that do they know that I love Indian food? I think so. Yeah. I could eat Indian food all day, every day. That I was a total nerd, like total academic until like a few years ago. Like my life surrounded around just studying and getting, you know, good grades and just being like good Indian girl.
Yeah.
So I was like a total nerd. I still love reading books and like, you know, learning new things and gaining knowledge. So I think I'm very like knowledge hungry. Like my brain always wants to like learn more and like innovate and learn like a new language or a new business, a new something. So yeah, I think that probably gives me the most energy, is like learning new things.
So the Indian nerd that loves Indian food. I think every day.
Exactly. That's a summary of it.
You also started your own foundation, Post for Change.
Yes.
Where did this all start? Why did you want to start this foundation?
So Post for Change was an idea that, like, from the beginning when I started this blog, I knew that I wanted to use it for more than just promoting fashion and beauty, you know, because like it's great and it's beautiful and like women love to see fashion and beauty, but I wanted it to stand for more. Because if you at such a young age have amassed such a big following, you know, use that to be a good role model and use that responsibility in a good way. So I always thought like, okay, how can I use this for more from day one? But then the Post for Change idea came when I was on a trip with Revolve. It's like this clothing line, and it was so amazing how they use the power of influencers to sell their clothes so well, you know, taking them on trips and everything, creating this experience. And then when I was falling asleep there, I remember thinking, hey, imagine if you could do this for good. Like the same concept of like taking 10, 11, 12 girls to some part of the world, like influencers, and but actually for using social media not for profit, but using social media for change, like to show them forests burning down, and show them like, you know, village women in India, how they deal with periods or whatever. Like any cause you could take, you can make so much more awareness on it by just getting influencers to go on that journey. So then I told my husband about it, and he's a diplomat. So together we're like, yeah, this is a really good idea. We should start it. And so we started it about 8 months ago, and then we just like emailed a bunch of people, and our very first email back was from UNICEF, which is like
big one.
the biggest NGO. And they were like, we want you, how quickly can you meet us in India? And we were like, okay. And so we went to them, we met them, and yeah, that's when it like just started, and it's been crazy. It's really, really cool since it's only been 8 months old, and we've already done like 4 projects, and yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you want to achieve on the long term? Because you said you just started 8 months, but you have done so much already. So what's your end goal? But
yeah, long term, I think we have like 2 main goals for this year. For example, one of them is to plant 1 million trees. So we have climate change and women's rights as like our 2 main pillars. So from the climate change angle, our goal is to plant 1 million trees, and from the women's right angle is to give menstrual hygiene and like menstrual knowledge to 250,000 women in India. So basically, those are the 2 main goals that we're working towards this year.
Okay. And are there other projects we can expect this year? And if so, can you tell us more about it?
I mean, with Post for Change or with me personally?
Both.
With Post for Change, there is a few in the pipeline, but because of Corona, everything has been pushed. So kind of got to see where. And with me personally, I think this is going to be the year I finally launch my own brand.
Nice. Fashion, beauty, both.
I can't say but I'm working very, very, very hard on it every single day, and it's going to be very exciting. But and it's going to be massive, if I can say that myself. But it's very exciting, and it's going to come hopefully by the end of this year.
Okay, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
But before we end this interview, what is your personal mantra you live by?
Personal mantra, it's this. It's called Amor Fati in Latin, and it basically means love your destiny. And what that means is like no matter what life throws at you, good, bad, everything is thrown at you for a reason. So don't just like be okay with it, but love it. So even if like you get shit in your life, love it, because either that's going to teach you something or put you in a path for something else or grow you. So just like look at life always in a way that, you know, everything is given to you for a reason. So love your destiny for it.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Would you love to share something with the watchers before we end this interview?
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. So they're going to ask questions, or do you want me to share something?
Oh, if there is anything you would love to share with them before we end this interview.
Oh, no, just thank you so much for watching, you guys. You know, I love you all. Thank you for being on my journey from day one. And I'm very excited to show you guys what's next in this journey with me.
Okay, thank you so much. I will wait patiently for your brand. And I hope to see it soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.